First time in 5 years. While packing, I've realized I have no pictures, digital or otherwise, for my entire time here. I never think to take them, and have never really been interested in looking back at them. What I have instead is a box of trinkets. Each one of those trinkets is a different little memory. I've always kept these notebooks. They're the first thing I ever wrote. I wrote in school much more than I ever did work. Each one of these is a uniquely awful story. They are very useful to look back at and remember that no matter how bad I feel about what I'm writing currently, it's not as bad as what I was writing 10 years ago. These are what remains of my attempt to annoy my elder brother. He was getting his PhD, so I spent an inordinate amount of money on a degree mill PhD in metaphysics. Every euro was very well spent for me, just for the annoyance it got out of my family. I also got ordained at the same time to make myself the very Reverend Dr. John Kerwin. Ah, the tube. I went back to university when I was here and got my degree, mainly because it is very difficult to make a living being self-employed and much more difficult to make a living without a degree. My main memory of this tube is being absolutely livid at dealing with NUIG as they kept delaying informing us if conferring was going to happen or not, as Storm Ophelia, I believe it was encroaching on Galway. The day was inevitably delayed and they cost me a fair amount of money, and the day itself was fine. Nothing special really, like every other conferring. This memory is one of the least interesting memories I've ever made in my life. There are pictures of my conferring as is required by tradition, but none exist in my house. Then there's this chain. I kinda just found its way into my cupboards and, it exists. But when I leave here, it will be a reminder of befriending my cat. He is curious but shy. I eventually discovered he hated the shit out of this chain, pursue it endlessly. Now he wakes me up in the morning by meowing loudly while sitting on my chest. It's like having an alarm clock that you have to feed to shut up. It's very effective. I'm going to miss Cat quite a bit when I leave here. It's been several years since I had a pet, although he's more of a friend. Here we have Junkman. I got him 2 years ago. I frequently find myself saying, "And you are coming with me." I never knew where I got it from. Memory's a little funny that way, but stay around even if you don't know why. I eventually was watching the CGI cartoon Crash Test Dummies from the mid-90s and was a little astounded to discover this guy is why I say, "And you are coming with me." I won't forget that anytime soon. This ticket is from my first ever sports ball game that I attended. My girlfriend insisted I attend at least one rugby game, and I learned that I was correct. I do not like being in a giant crowd with overpriced beer and sitting in a crap seat. My earliest memory of TV was also the Borg on Star Trek, who all speak as one. Like this. I learned to hate large groups doing and saying things together ever since. It scares the pants off me, so a stadium was never going to be somewhere I enjoyed being. These are all little mementos from weddings I've attended. They were all fun events, like most weddings tend to be. And this is from my grandmother's house. It's a rock no one else was going to want, but it's a little part of that place that I can hold on to going forward. Then there are all my memories of work. The first novels I completed and published, no longer available, incredibly rare. The first feature-length script I worked on, even more rare, because I lost all the other versions of it. The first check I ever got for any writing work I did. I never actually cashed it as it was a pittance, but it was a start. I've forgotten lots of stuff I worked on, but I remember all of these very clearly. This is one of the first gifts my girlfriend ever got me. It has my nickname on it, Scarecrow. Nickname because I'm hilariously forgetful and scatterbrained. It's also a fun reminder of my nickname to have this little sock, even though it's misspelled Scare-Row. So if I ever do forget that nickname, I now just have a very ominous Christmas stocking. Finally, we have a lighter from a bog. Almost 60-year-old Ronson lighter with initials carved onto it and a club name on it. It started me collecting lighters. I have a pretty vast collection in its own box, but I could never find anything more about who owned this, what the club was, where it came from. Just found it in a bog, ended up in a shop, and I bought it. It's this odd little relic from someone else's life. It fell into mine. I don't know what its story or its memories are, which is why it's in the box. A little reminder that all of these really are only important to me in some ways. I understand that photos capture a moment and a memory, but I prefer objects. They only capture a memory, and as time goes forward, they move so far from its place and its person and its time that memory is gone. You can still tell the object is important, but you have no idea why. They don't actually tell a story like a photo does. They're just a small part of it. I like the mystery of them. I like to think about the mystery that they leave behind. When I was building furniture for my new place, I found little small trinkets like these from people who had just been there the week before. Coins from ancient times, laptops that I can't access, just all these little scraps of things, little memories that I can't understand what they were there for, why they existed, but they are there. There's so little pictures of me in existence in my room or online. When I go, this box of memories and other people's memories will be the only sign I was here, and later, when I permanently retire to a very different type of box, will only be people's memories, and their memories of me with these items in this box that will remain. And those memories will fade, and these objects will lose their memories too. And then, well,